Today, we're diving into the future of real estate as envisioned by the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, for 2025. And it's very relevant because many consumers use realtors to purchase a property. So it's actually nice to know what they have in store for us for 2025. So after a challenging year, NAR's new president, Kevin Sears, has taken the reins with a fresh yet nostalgic approach, focusing on the association's roots to help guide its future. So let's break down how NAR's focus on consumer protection and collaboration among members will shape the real estate industry in 2025. To understand where NAR is heading, it helps to know where it's been. The National Association of Realtors was founded in 1908, building on values like consumer protection and ethical real estate practices. Today, Sears says it's these founding principles that will guide NAR and its members through the evolving real estate landscape. In fact, protecting consumers and working together were NAR's original goals, and in 2025, that commitment is back to basics, is more relevant than ever. So what does that mean for realtors and consumers alike? So let's recap 2024. Now, 2024 was a year of immense change for NAR, leadership transitions, legal challenges, and a pretty big one, and perhaps one of the biggest shifts in the real estate practice in modern times. Now, Kevin Sears acknowledged that while the year was tough, it was also full of opportunities to prove why NAR and its members are here to stay. So while these hurdles posed difficulties, they also highlighted the need for strong leadership and a united real estate industry. As Sears points out, NAR's challenges have ultimately paved the way for stronger consumer advocacy and member engagement. So let's talk about 2025 and their goal for protecting consumers. Now, for NAR, it's all about back to basics approach. First and foremost, protecting consumers. But what does that actually mean? So NAR plans to address this in a few key ways. One of them is going to be advocating for policies that ensure fair treatment, supporting legislation to increase affordable housing inventory. And we all know that's a pretty big issue right now across the country. And I really just don't see that going away with some type of policy change. And also giving realtors tools to better serve the community. Now, one area of focus that caught our eye with NAR's support for legislation that reduces tax burdens on long-term homeowners, especially as they consider selling. This kind of policy advocacy doesn't just help consumers, it straightens our communities. Sorry about that. Now let's talk about the advocacy for the veteran community, which is a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the channel. So if you guys get a chance, please make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Now, NAR has also been in a campaign for veterans, and in 2025, it's doubling down on this focus. For example, NAR is working to improve VA loan procedures, allowing veterans to work with buyer agents, no matter how these agents are compensated. That was a pretty big shift. I did a video on that not too long ago where I talked about the VA did a temporary VA circular allowing veterans to pay real estate commission fees. There's a mixed bag of feelings around that, but at the end of the day, the reality is it does make veterans more competitive because they are then competing just like the other loan products that exist, ultimately creating a level playing field. Now, Sear emphasized that by addressing these VA loan procedures, NAR is making homeownership more accessible for veterans, a group that has been given so much to our country. From better education for decision making to policy that incentivizes affordable housing, NAR is finding new ways to ensure that consumers' needs are prioritized. Another piece that they also do to this is they do offer a class certification called the Military Relocation Professional Certification. Now, this is a great certification for the real estate community because at least it gives them an outline of how to work with the military community, acronyms, the VA home loan process. I know this because I teach it at a lot of associations, and I definitely see the light go on when they take the class because they have a deeper understanding of what consumers are going through, because military life is very different than civilian life. Now, another piece of this is collaboration with the Department of Justice. NAR is also tackling some legal hurdles, which, if you guys don't know, we did a bunch of videos leading up until this year talking about the NAR lawsuit. Now, there's some particularly ongoing dialogue with the Department of Justice. According to Sears, they've actively working with the DOJ to find common ground on several issues. Now, this relationship is still evolving, and while progress may be slow, NAR's leadership team remains optimistic. For them, it's all about finding solutions that benefit both consumers and realtors. Now, while this may be a long road, it is clear that NAR's values transparency and cooperation in its approach to overcoming these hurdles. Now, another thing they're going to be doing is supporting more state and local associations, which is a big priority for them in 2025, and that's strengthening support for state and local associations. These groups serve as the first line of support for realtors, helping members understand the unique challenges of that region. And it's very relevant because I teach across the country. So every place I go to, everyone has different resources. So this is a great way to level the playing field so all agents are educated, and that way consumers can be educated. We do a ton of consumer education, but there's a part of this that I do a lot of, not on YouTube, is educating the real estate community about working with veterans, how to make their strategies, better strategies for making offers. How do we win more contracts so veterans can get into home ownership? Look, I went through that same struggle, and I do this every day, day in, day out. I made an offer on a property. Realtor was like, I really don't like, we don't see VA loans. We really don't like them. We don't feel they're very competitive. And I'm like, that is crazy, because that is not the case, right? And that's just my personal story, kind of like throwing it out there, because I was still kind of taken back. I was like, man, what's going on over here? But anyways, the NAR believes that by empowering these local organizations, realtors nationwide will just be better equipped to navigate today's process, especially with the new requirements that consumers have to sign agreements with buyers agents before they even look at properties. And I think that's kind of been the holdup for a lot of the veteran community getting into homeownership, because there is that potential higher cost to doing business. Another piece of this is financial strategy and leaner operations for NAR. Now, they have a lot of new financial obligations tied to that legal settlement. I think, don't quote me on it, but it's like north of $400 million. So it's a lot of money. NAR's approach for 2025 will be more streamlined. Sears calls it a leaner and meaner strategy. Now, NAR has been scrutinizing its budget to eliminate expenses that don't add up value to its members, which I think is great. By trimming unnecessary costs, they aim to operate more efficiently while delivering top-tier service to the real estate community. So as we look into 2025, it's clear the National Association of Realtors is serious about staying true to its roots, protecting consumers, supporting its members, and adapting to a changing industry. This back-to-basic approach shows that even after a challenging year, NAR's dedication to its mission has never been stronger. So please, guys, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. As we go into 2025, we're going to be providing a lot of resources around what is currently happening in the real estate market, along with talking about your VA home loan benefits, because this is information that we should all know, because everyone that at least I know, maybe because of some of the business, but is talking about real estate in one way or another. So I'll catch you guys soon.